Yo, what is up everyone? My name is Joe from NASCAR on MDK. Welcome back to the video. It's been a while since I last did one of these things. I believe maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, I think was the last time I did an Inside the Lines episode, mainly because school. And with the Core League, as you guys don't know, I am the main broadcaster for the Core League with Core on MDK. So I was trying to get everything lined up before I do anything with my channel here. But now everything is all settled, everything is good. Within a fantastic race that took place last night, which we're going to talk about here in this episode. But yeah, hopefully we'll be able to start doing these a lot more, specifically with December winter break coming along, doing more, not only Inside Lines, but doing live streams and doing more Inside Lines originals like Stock Car Stories, Hear Me Out, Look Back, and so on. Now we have 2 stories to talk about here today. The first one revolves around, like I said earlier in the show, what took place last night at Homestead Miami Speedway with Season 2 of the Core League. It was a... let's just say it was one to remember. So the race as a whole, from lap 1 to around lap 170, it was Dale Reynolds, What If Racing, and Sloppy Joe. Those 3 were just dominating the entire race, mainly with the 1 car of What If Racing and the 8 car Sloppy Joe. Those 2 were battling back and forth. The 27 car Reynolds, he was there, but he wasn't like a real factor. But it was mainly between the 1 and the 8 car. That all changed with 31 laps to go. Take a look at the race highlights. 31 laps to go. Darren Gilliam, or Black Lives Matter, a lap car, spins right in front of the leaders and collects the 2 car of Ed Soundon, and that would bring out a restart with under 30 to go. And that's when all hell started to break loose. We're already moving on to the restart. You got Sloppy Joe in the middle of a 3-wide battle with Dale Reynolds on the high lane. Michael Maruzzi came out of nowhere on the inside lane, and then another caution came out. The 28 car, the Daytona 250 winner, Cody Higgins, spins on the back straight to bring out another caution, and that of course sets up another restart. And that restart had an incredible 5-wide battle with Sloppy Joe, Michael Maruzzi, Rusty Wallace, drive-through, and Joseph Lombard, but it did not work out. As you see, the 48 car spins, hits the 82 car, and spins to the inside wall, collecting the 38 car of Jake Baskinger. An incredible move to try and make a pass from Sloppy Joe, but that ultimately did not work. Sets up another restart, and that involves the 2 car of Ed Soundon, who spins, and you see in the background the 8 car of Sloppy Joe, who hits the apron, the leader for majority of the race. He also spins and causes another caution, and this was horrible because it sent the 8 car Sloppy Joe to the back of the field. The phrase caution breed cautions continues. Another caution on the back straightaway with the 2 car of Ed Soundon, who had a horrible day really in this race last night. Causes another caution. You see in the background as well the 28 car Cody Aiken involved in a crash for the 2nd week in a row. And this leads into overtime. Let's take a look at the 77 car of drive-thru. There he is, positioned in row 5 in 9th place, and let's just say he had an incredible drive. I'm not going to say anything. We're just going to let the audio play for itself and relive those last 2 laps of the Tasmanian Devil 200.
Yeah. Yep. We're not going to get to the checker. Wow, let's tell.
Sorry, IDK, I'm on the lead lap, you aren't.
I'm just going to stay on the bottom and not let anyone get under me.
Me too.
Although I did that in the last round, and then someone came down and just smacked me anyways. Tell's going to send some people on the track. We're just going to squeeze right through here. Don't come down off the corner, please.
IDK, I'm sorry.
There they all go.
Please don't have to be cautious for us.
There's gonna be caution right here. Yeah, there it goes.
Jake! That was Jake. I need to send an apology to Dale. That was Jake.
I got shoved into Joseph by Littell.
It's like the Michigan race last year.
I got pushed into Joseph by Littell. I'm gonna win this damn race. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? What?
Yeah! Yeah! What was that?
3 for 3 shrimps.
That saved the day right there. I'm so happy for you.
Dude, I finished 13th. I don't even care.
Oh my god, I wasn't even gonna send it on him.
So drive-thru becomes the first official rookie in the Core League to score a victory in the Ford car. 2nd place is Brendan Littell in his best finish of 2nd place. 3rd is Joseph Lombard, who was a victim of that bump and run from Littell to Davin Cornelius. And Joseph Lombard got the bend of the stick. He comes home in 3rd place. Nice rebound for Trey Normal in 4th. Michael Maruzzi, after a dismal race at Richmond last weekend. He salvages a 5th place run. Also a great run for the 6th place driver Jared Lundberg. 7th place is Darren Gilliam. Ray Jacobs, Kamikaze Games, in his first start in the Core League this season, an 8th place run, which is incredible for the race that he had overall last night. He was not good at all. Salvages a 8th place run. Tough break for 9th and 10th place Brian Pasternak and Joey Stone. I mean, those two were really the class of the field. Ultimately, the result does not show. They led, I'm pretty sure, all but maybe just a handful of laps. They come home 9th and 10th. 11th place is Rusty Wallace. 12th is Jake Baskinger, which is good because I believe he's been in dead last, or at least near the back of the pack, for the past 2 races. 13th is Cody Hicken. 14th is Dale Reynolds again. Another driver who was up front, or at least in the top 3 the entire race. Unfortunate run for him in 14th. And right out the field is 15th and 16th place is Ed Soundhead and Jonathan Ramos. Now on to the point standings. With that win, Drive-Thru jumps up 6 spots from 7th to 1st place and becomes the first rookie to lead the Core League standings with 44 points. Michael Kosey Jr., who did not participate in last night's event, drops 1 spot, but 4 points behind. Brian Pasternak drops to 3rd place, 6 points behind. Darren Gilliam picks up a spot and 9 points behind. Brendan Littell, big jump for him, 4 points up to 5th place, 11 points behind. Joseph Lombard as well, plus 4 in 6th place. Jared Lombard gains a spot in 7th. Cody Hicken, not a good day for him, loses 4 spots in 8th. Dale Wenderson in 9th place, loses 3 spots. The driver that had the worst impact, Wilshire 2 car, Ed Soundhead, loses 7 spots from 3rd to 10th, 15 points behind. Trey Normal gains 2 spots to 11th, 20 points behind. Rusty Walrus loses 1 spot, 25 points behind. Michael Maroots gains 2 spots, 28 points behind. Ryan Labani did not participate in last night's event, so he loses 2 spots down to 14th. Jonathan Ramos still loses a spot, even with Labani not participating, falls to 15th. Ray Jacobs, participating in his first start, jumps to 16th on the grid. 17th to Jake Baskinger, still 1 point down. Joey Stone really did not gain much, remains in 18th place. Caleb Hoffman, also another driver that did not participate in last night's event, he falls from 17th to 19th, 43 points below the race, the points leader. Next week, the Core League heads up north to Canada, Canadian Time Motorsports Park. We've got everything you need to know on the Core League channel as well as on Core on MDK. We begin at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time next Thursday with Core Radio active from Homestead Miami Speedway. Then at 7:30, the Core on MDK Pure Show. Me and Cody Workman get you everything you need to know for next Thursday's race. And that all leads up to the 8 o'clock premiere of the Drive-Thru 160 from Canadian Time Motorsports Park. Like I said earlier, takes place at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. That's Drive-Thru's hometown track in Canada, and he's got a lot of momentum on his side. Not only does he have a win at Homestead, but he's also sponsoring a race at his home track. So hopefully we could see for the first time a driver go back-to-back in the Core League. Again, that's all starting 7 o'clock p.m. next Thursday on the Core League YouTube channel. And now from the online world of NASCAR racing to now the real world. Earlier during NASCAR Champions Weekend from Nashville, NASCAR announced a big announcement regarding the future of the Cup Series sponsorship entitlement program. Now, for those of you that don't know, that NASCAR was going to go through a similar style that how the Premier League goes through, where instead of having one sponsor covering the bulk of the money, it's split between different companies or different sponsors. And today, or at least earlier this weekend, they announced 4 sponsors that will be the premier sponsoring partners for the Cup Series: Xfinity, Coca-Cola, Busch Beer, and Geico. Now, some interesting things to point out, as I have them note down on this piece of paper. It says that the premier sponsors will have a equal presence for not only the NASCAR Championship race but for the NASCAR All-Star race. So there will be no entitlement sponsorship for the championship race next season. So for example, last year was a Ford EcoBoost 400. You're not going to see that. You're probably just going to see probably the championship race with those 4 sponsors having an equal presence on championship race day. Another interesting thing about this is that there are no exclusive rights. So let's say with Geico is the official insurance sponsor of NASCAR. Let's say if Farmers Insurance or Allstate, they want to come back to NASCAR and sponsor a car, they are allowed to do so. So you're not going to see a Sprint or AT&T debacle like we saw in 2007. If you want to learn more about that, you can check out Stock Car Stories on the top right. I believe it's over there, top right, where I cover that little race. And while there's no exact number on how long the agreement will be between each sponsor, NASCAR did say it is staggered from 3 to 5 years. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go over each of the 4 sponsors and what they're going to bring to the table for NASCAR in 2020. So Busch Beer, They already bring a lot. They're the beer brand exclusive for NASCAR, as well as the sponsor of the Busch Polo Award. Now, this will continue on with the partnership, as well as Busch Beer will sponsor a NASCAR Cup Series event in 2020. Coca-Cola will continue its partnership with NASCAR with the NASCAR Salutes program. Last year, they had this whole month-long program, I believe in May and June, where they saluted to the troops and they had NASCAR troops at the track. Coca-Cola will still be the main sponsor for that event. And additionally, Coca-Cola will become the presenting sponsor for the NASCAR Cup Series regular season championship trophy, as well as they'll continue their race entitlements to the Charlotte Motor Speedway and the Daytona International Speedway with the Coke 600 and the Coke 0400. Geico is a bit more vague. They're already the official insurance partner of NASCAR from last season, and all it says here that they are going to be the presenting sponsor for a good portion of the season. That's all it says. So for a good portion of the season, maybe in the middle of the season or early on, Geico is going to be NASCAR Cup Series presented by Geico for a majority of the races, or at least for a part of the season. Now, Xfinity, we all know that they are the sponsor for the lower division, the NASCAR Xfinity Series, but they're also going to be sponsoring the Championship 4 Elimination Race next season at Martinsville Speedway. Now, you're probably wondering, where's Monster Energy and all this? There were talks of Monster Energy possibly having a premier sponsorship role, but with that not being available, they are still going to be a second-tier sponsorship. They're going to be the official energy drink of NASCAR, as well as, according to Mitch Covington, the Monster Energy girls are still going to be at the track next year. So, yeah, that's something to look forward to, I guess. I don't know. Now, by announcing the new partners coming into NASCAR, NASCAR unveiled a new logo with the NASCAR Cup Series logo. I kind of like it. It's more black and white, simple, but still sleek and clean. I really do like it. But what I will say, some things I don't understand with social media is a bunch of people were getting on NASCAR because, they were laughing at the fact that, oh, NASCAR is clearly dying. As you can see, they cannot get a sponsor. So that's why it's the NASCAR Cup Series. Well, to dispute that, NASCAR publicly said that they did not want to continue with Monster Energy in terms of extending the partnership. Remember, earlier in the year, Monster Energy did say that they wanted to continue their relationship as the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series into 2020, but NASCAR said no. They turned that down in favor of the new sponsorship model. So that already debunks it. Another thing I don't understand was some people were complaining about this new logo because it was too simple. Yet those same people love the Winston Cup logo, which, I mean, that's about as bland as you can get. I mean, it's a rectangle with text. Some of them had the little ring, a black ring around it, but I mean, really? You love this, but you don't love the new logo because, it's too simple, yet this isn't simple enough? I mean, I don't get it, but ultimately, I like it. This could be very, very good for NASCAR heading into the future, mainly because, instead of having just one person cover up all the cost of the money, it's now being split into different partners. It's going to make it easier for new partners and new sponsors to come into NASCAR because there's going to be less money involved. I think one of the main issues with sponsorship leaving is because of that. Number one, not only is NASCAR not as popular as it once was, because it's just too much money it makes no sense to pay so much money for a sport that's not gaining popularity. It's losing popularity. It makes no sense. So this is a great way to get new sponsors and to keep them a lot longer in the sport. And yeah, I cannot wait to see what the 2020 holds. It's really a new era, new drivers, a new car in 2021, revised schedule, and a new sponsorship model. NASCAR's got a lot to be looking forward to in the future. And that will conclude this episode of Inside the Lines. I know there's more stories to talk about here, like with Daniel Suarez and the Xfinity Series, where he could end up in next year, but we're going to talk about that in a later episode. Right now, I'm going to be uploading more on this YouTube channel. Like I said, maybe uploading more stock car stories, hear me out, look backs, and maybe doing more live streams, but that will be later in the future. But until next time, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more content. Now I'm Jake Cross from NASCAR on MDK, and I'll see you guys in the next video.